Good morning. It is moving day here, and that means we are packing up and heading out to another RV park. That seems to be kind of what we've been doing every weekend for the last month. But I thought this would be a good time to talk to you guys a little bit about our process when it comes to finding an RV park and what we look for in an RV park, some things that we've learned to avoid, and some of my favorite apps that make all of this possible. The general idea of us traveling is we are just trying to stay in nice weather. Nothing novel. We don't have anything super important planned that has us going from one state to the next at a certain time. We want to avoid being in a lot of snow, and we want to avoid being in blistering heat. The first thing that Scott and I usually do when we think about where we want to go is we think about what's there. What do we want to see that's there? We ask our friends a lot of times. You guys, our friends, our family, give us a lot of great recommendations of off the beaten path places, and we just decide to put it on our route. Then I usually grab my phone and I pull up one of my many apps that makes this whole trip much easier, and I almost always start with TripAdvisor. Now I'm going to show you a little bit about how I look on TripAdvisor specifically for RV parks in the area that we want. You know, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's a system that I ended up showing Scott that made things a little easier for him. So I start by typing in the area where we want to go. So for instance, we're in Williams, Arizona right now. And then within Williams, I go up to the search function and I type in RV park. And then that'll bring up a whole list of various RV parks in the area. But one thing I always do after I look at the number of ratings and kind of how well people have rated a property is I go into the search function within the listing and I type in things like kids. And I see what people have to say about having kids there, because obviously we travel with 4 of them and it's pretty important about where we stay. The next thing I plug in there is Wi-Fi, because next to having a great place for our kids to play, we definitely need to have some strong Wi-Fi. Now for us, it's not even about being able to use their Wi-Fi. It's great if they have their own Wi-Fi, because then the kids can use it and get on their games or whatever and not have to bother our Wi-Fi. But we travel with our own Verizon jetpack, and then we also have AT&T on our phones. So I just need one of these options to connect me to the internet. So what I want to know is it in a good signal area? And a lot of times after I check how people are rating the Wi-Fi in reviews, before I book a park, I will straight up ask them, tell me what your reception is like on your phone. Tell me what kind of Wi-Fi you have. Personally, what are you using there? And that will give me all the information that I need to know, because if it is a park that has limited to no cell and Wi-Fi service, we really cannot stay there more than a couple days, just because we're working from the road and Wi-Fi is essential for all of that. This is a KOA. This is the 3rd KOA we've stayed at, and initially when we first started this trip, we thought we would probably stay at KOAs very rarely because they tend to be a little more expensive than most of the other parks that we're staying at. But here is the benefit for us so far to staying at places like KOAs. They're geared mostly toward families. So that's a good thing, because we know that it's gonna be a park where people are expecting to see kids. Don't mind the noise in the background. Scott's pulling in the stabilizers and getting ready to hitch us up. He's like, come on, wrap this up. Also, it's so worth it that most KOAs have incredible playgrounds. This one had this really cool air bubble that the kids could bounce on. It has putt-putt golf and go-karts on the weekends, and an indoor pool and a hot tub. So you really are paying for like a resort experience here. But on weeks like this week, when I needed to buckle down and stay in the RV and get work done for 2 or 3 days in a row, and we couldn't really go out and experience places with the kids, it was really awesome that we had a great RV park that the kids could go and experience things on their own. So we're not out exploring and spending money in those ways. Instead, we're staying at the park. So it kind of evens out. Also, in our experience, all the KOAs we've been at so far have had incredible Wi-Fi. So again, that helps with the work-life balance situation for us. Now, the weeks that we're gonna go and explore and see and do, we really do try to stay at state parks. So far, state parks have been super good to us, with the exception of a couple in Florida that ripped holes in our roof when we pulled out underneath some big trees. State parks normally have really big, wide open spaces for us, great connections, and normally are pretty cheap, like anywhere from $25 to $35 a night for a full hookup. Whereas when you're staying at like a KOA, you can expect to pay between $50 and $60 a night, and that's kind of on the lower end sometimes. Usually I'll just Google state parks in that area. I'll check out their websites. I'll see if they book through a certain app, and then I will continue to use that as we travel through the state. Another app that I really love to use, and we mentioned this in our video last time, was Campendium. Campendium has been fantastic. It's for campers, by campers, so you can really trust the reviews there. And this was how we wound up finding our boondocking spot in by the Grand Canyon. And what I love is people leave reviews on there specifically for boondocking. So when we stayed at the Grand Canyon, we had very specific instructions about how far to drive and what to look out for and where the best boondocking spots would be, and it made it so incredibly easy. Finally, we just signed up for a really amazing service called Harvest Hosts, and I'm a little bummed we're not going to be able to take advantage of it tonight. I had high hopes for us boondocking at an alpaca farm, but I guess we need to make it a little bit further than an hour away tonight, so we're gonna have to skip it. But Harvest Hosts is a $50 membership, and then you are able to access a list of places nearly all around the country, of places like wineries and farms and alpaca farms, museums, and other places that will let you come and stay the night, normally one night, for free. A lot of times totally kid and even sometimes pet friendly. You just have to be self-contained, so you need to be able to boondock. You can't be relying on them for their bathrooms, their showers, electricity, etc. I am totally looking forward to boondocking at some vineyards and wineries up and down the California coast here shortly. And you gotta admit that alpaca farm would have been super fun. I feel like I'm still gonna try to talk Scott into it. Okay guys, I've gotta wrap it up because Scott is ready to go. As you can see, the trailer is shaking because he's trying to hitch us up and get us out of here. I think it's technically checkout time here at the KOA. They've been amazing to us. I don't want to overstay our welcome, but I'm gonna put a link to each of these apps in a blog post for you, and I hope that you find them as helpful as I have. Don't forget to comment below, tell us some of your favorite RV parks or camping spots and how you go about finding them. Do you Google? Do you rely on TripAdvisor or Yelp, or do you just rely on word of mouth? Do you have a membership to a community of parks? I would love to hear more. We're considering possibly purchasing a 1,000 Trails Pass, so I would like to hear if you guys have one and how you like that. And like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to BabyLeague. We are hitting the road to California. So excited to see you guys again shortly. If I am totally scatterbrained on this video, it is because I am so exhausted. I have a book coming out on Tuesday, and I am working so hard over the weekend to get it ready to go. And Tuesday, I'm gonna share all about it with you guys and all about this work-life balance on the road for me the last few months. Take care, have a great weekend, happy Easter. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye.